After an enthralling first day of competition in the pool, it was an expectant crowd that arrived for day 2 at the Tollcross International Swimming Centre. The first event of the day was the men's 200m freestyle. Heat 3 pitched together Ryan Cochrane and David McKeon, the Canadian having pipped the Australian to gold in the 400m event on day 1. Your commentators are Mike McCann and Alison Shepherd.
Ryan Cochrane swimming down to the 200 metres. So often in the past we've seen Cochrane, who won the 400 of course, swim the 1500 metres at World Championships, the longer distance.
Olympic Games.
Absolutely, and he's down to the 200 here, so we'll watch for Cochrane the further the race goes on. He's there in lane 6, but it's lane 4 at the moment. McKeon with just over 50 to swim. Now on his left shoulder there it's Granger of England, and on his right shoulder Jarvis of Wales. Jarvis leads McKeon by 0.21. Cochrane is moving through the field. He's up into 3rd place, and he'll bring it home hard.
Now, this is really interesting because it's only top 8 straight to finals this evening. No semi-finals at the Commonwealth Games for 200, so they have it all to play for here.
And look at Callum Jarvis finishing this off, the Welsh swimmer. Jarvis out by 3/4 of a body length, and he will take heat 3, the first of the seeded heats. McKeon touches in 2nd, and equal 3rd, it'll be Granger of England and also Cochrane of Canada.
Delhi gold medal winner and home favourite Robbie Rennick swam in Heat 5 alongside the young and much fancied Australian Cameron McAvoy.
Now that margin between 1st and 2nd has been cut back to only 16/100ths of a second. Great swim this by Stanley, and Robbie Rennick is back there in 3rd place, so he is just waiting to pounce, timing his race nicely. He was 7th in the 400 metres last night, the defending champion here and the finalist in London. As they turn at the 150, and now McAvoy's extended the lead again to half a second from Stanley in lane 3. Rennick is still not too far away in lane number 6.
Yeah, he really has to pick it up if he wants to be safe for this final, because as we know, there's a lot of close swimming already this morning, but McAvoy is just dominating.
He's got a beautiful smooth stroke action, quickens it slightly towards the finish, and he goes in and touches tight for 2nd. Rennick just edging out Stanley, could be important in the long term.
So Australia's Cameron McAvoy leads the way ahead of fellow countryman Thomas Fraser-Holmes. Wales's Callum Jarvis qualifies in 3rd, just ahead of Scotland's Robbie Rennick. In the women's 50m freestyle heats, Australian Bronte Campbell secured her place in the semi-final with this swim to break the Games record. In the next heat, Delhi silver medalist Fran Halsall from England lined up in lane 4.
Take your mark.
Even start. Halsall seemed to get away pretty well, so did her teammate Smith in lane 5. Vanderpool Wallace is going nicely. In fact, it's lanes 3 and 4. Vanderpool Wallace and also Halsall. Halsall starting to get on top. It's very tight between lanes 3 and 4. I'll tell you what, Vanderpool Wallace is absolutely flying, but she won't get Halsall. Halsall will take it out. Vanderpool Wallace 2nd. Smith that was in 3rd. Another Games record. 24:31. 24:31. So Bronte Barrett's time didn't last too long. Well done, Fran Halsall.
Following Scotland's dramatic 1-2 in the 200m breaststroke on day 1, gold medalist Ross Murdoch and silver medalist Michael Jamieson renewed their rivalries in Heat 3 of the 100m event.
So away they go. Great excitement here with the 2 Scottish swimmers in the yellow lanes. Lane 1, Davies of the Isle of Man, Dawson, Northern Ireland in 2, Funk of Canada in 3. Then you're down to Sewell of India, Fernandez, Kenya, and Bensadon, Gibraltar in those 6, 7 and 8 lanes. But it's all eyes on the 2 blue caps, Murdoch and Jamieson. Murdoch is going out very hard. Funk of Canada in lane 3, trailing him.
Yeah, Funk is trying to go with Murdoch here. Murdoch, winner of the 200 metres, but he's been known as a 100-metre swimmer, and now Funk has overhauled him.
Wonderful swim this by Richard Funk, the Canadian. He's there in the yellow cap, lane 3, but look at Murdoch go. Murdoch putting on the power. He's taken over the lead. He edges clear. He has about 10 to swim. Jamieson back in 3rd placing. but it's Ross Murdoch, the gold medalist from last night. He wins his heat. Second place taken by Richard Funk, and Michael Jamieson third.
So Ross Murdoch finishes ahead of his teammate again, but he wasn't the fastest qualifier for the semi-finals later on day 2. That accolade goes to England's Adam Peaty with a games record time of 59.47. In the women's 100m backstroke heats, Australian Emily Seebohm goes through to the semi-finals as fastest qualifier as another games record fell in the pool. She beat the time she previously set 4 years ago by 0.02 of a second. Scotland were looking for further success in the 400m individual medley, this time in the men's event. Daniel Wallace lined up in Heat 1. We joined the race with 200 metres to go with a battle for the lead between Wallace and South Africa's Sebastian Rousseau.
Rousseau from Wallace and Riley. 3 seconds separating the top three as they head into the all-important breaststroke leg.
Yeah, as you say, breaststroke, very important leg, and Dan Wallace is edging up ever so slightly here on the breaststroke. And remember, Dan Wallace was in the 400 freestyle final last night, so he has the ability on the freestyle at the end of a 400 race to do a good job. So the crowd are starting to notice that Dan Wallace has come up on the shoulder of Rousseau here, and he's actually overtaken him on that turn, so the crowd are going to get behind their homeboy.
Yes, in the white cap in lane 5 from Scotland, Dan Wallace. Sebastian Rousseau in the green cap from South Africa, having led throughout, but Wallace is finding some clear water now. He extends the lead to half a length. No doubt about those two finishing first and second. It'll be interesting for the third placing, but this is a very strong performance by Dan Wallace. He goes in and touches as he goes into the final leg, the freestyle. Surely they can't pull in the lead here. Wallace, Rousseau, long way back for third. At the moment it's held down by Hatfield, then Riley, and then Gilliland. But this is a strong performance.
Certainly is. Personal best time of 4:13, that's his entry time. We watch that closely.
And look at the lead he's built up now. 3.5 seconds. Wallace on Rousseau. And then that battle will continue for the important third placing. Lanes 2, 3 and 6. Gilliland, Riley and Hatfield. Probably Hatfield in the better position of that trio at the moment, but certainly in the best position of all, it's Dan Wallace of Scotland. Dan Wallace goes in and takes out Heat 1 of the 400 individual medley and a games record.
What a swim from Dan Wallace.
Now that games record going down to 4:11.04.
So Wallace qualifies with the fastest time and is one of 3 Scots in the final taking place later on day 2. Australia's Travis Mahoney and Roberto Pavoni from England make up the top 3. Delhi gold medalists Australia lined up in Heat 2 of the 4x100m freestyle relay. Their biggest competition in this event is likely to come from England in lane 5.
It's Australia first and South Africa second. Third place at the moment, England. Into the fourth and final leg. The last leg swimmers here, Madabud of Australia, Justice of South Africa. England have Disney May. For Northern Ireland, Coulter, Lim of Singapore, and for Zambia, Axiotis.
Well, Australia are the runaway winners with this one, but England have come back into contention over South Africa with Disney May here. You know, he's an excellent sprinter. He's going out super quick down that 50. They'll never catch the Australians, but they've managed to overhaul the new South Africans.
Yes, and that will help with their lane seeding. But Australia will go in and take out this relay. We'll keep an eye on the clock there. Games record safe. Australia take it out. And in second place, England, then South Africa. Fourth home would be probably Singapore in lane 7.
Australia through to the final later on day 2, finishing over 2 seconds ahead of their closest challengers. England and Scotland make up the top 3.